Hello, valued viewers. Welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth. Joseph Atta is my name, from Ghana, West Africa. Mining for the Truth refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. I attend Church of Christ. It has two purposes as follows. One, to teach the word. John 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. You can prove this by going to Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word for God there is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son Jesus Christ, the Word, and then God the Holy Spirit. 2, to teach the truth. John 8:32, as you can find on the screen. And you know the truth, and the truth will make you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth, your word is truth. What is the truth? Truth manifestation. John 14 verse 6. And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me or except through me. Of course, you can also go to Acts 4 verse 12 to prove that Jesus Christ is the only name under which we are, or Christians, will be saved. No other name but except the name Jesus Christ. That is God the Son. Having said that, I welcome all my viewers from all over the world. Now I'm everywhere: Australia, Dubai, USA, Nigeria, Pakistan, India, Ghana, Cameroon, everywhere. Trinidad and Tobago, everywhere I am there. Thank you so much for viewing the videos. Please subscribe to Mining for the Truth on YouTube, and then also follow the page on Facebook. I welcome my brothers from UMAT, actually brothers and sisters from UMAT Campus Church in Chicago, Takrady. You have been doing so well, and I encourage you to continue. There is Odonko, Mrs. Atta, you are welcome to my program. Everything will be well, actually. We are still hoping in God. So let's all try to trust in Him. At the right time, He's going to fulfill His promises with you, or His promise with you. Now, why am I here? Because Christ has commanded. Matthew 28, verse 18 to 20, Mark 16, 15 to 16. The Great Commission for all of us. Go ye therefore and teach. So, I am the Joseph Atta. I am mining for the truth. I am going ye therefore. So, by go ye therefore, that's how come mining for the truth. And now we are on the book of Ecclesiastes. So you have this as the cover page. Now you can go to the book, and then we do what we have today. Chapter 1 has ended last week. Actually, chapter 1, episode 2. I divided it into 2. So we have the pedagogy of chapter 1. So episode 1 of chapter 1 was last 2 weeks, and then last week was the pedagogy of chapter 1, episode 2, and that one too has been finished. So basically today we are going to look at the pedagogy of Ecclesiastes chapter 2, episode 1. So this means that I'm going to divide it into 2. I will treat 1 today. God willing, next time we'll continue with the rest. Oh, sorry. Chapter 2 has been begun already, sorry. We looked at of places and palaces. Yeah, very good. I'm sorry for that. I even forgot. So the pedagogy of chapter 2, episode 1 has been dealt with. We looked at of places and palaces. I think Ecclesiastes 2, verse 1 to 11. Today we're going to continue from chapter 2, verse 12 to the last end. That's what we are going to look at today. As the book is loading, we look at the main concepts of Ecclesiastes 2. 1. The pursuit of pleasure. 1. The pursuit of pleasure. 2. We have wealth and power. Wealth and power by summary. And then 3. Wisdom and folly. Wisdom and folly. If you want to add the 4, you can say the futility of seeking the ultimate happiness and fulfillment through wealth. So last week we saw that Solomon had a lot. He enjoyed himself well, and he married a lot. 700 concubines, no, 700 wives, I think 300 concubines. 1 Kings 11, verse 1 to 4. And the verse 4 is saying that when he was old, in fact, they gave him as much pleasure, as much pain. And the consequence was that his heart was turned against God, rather to worship lesser gods. When he was old, and we explained that old age comes with its own problems. He was then a liability. He was then to depend. He wasn't then as independent. He was independent as young, where he had to command the servant to give him whatever he wanted. But as you are growing, your strength will also deteriorate, and therefore you depend on someone. So there will be interdependency. And then is when people try to retaliate. All those who have planned evil against you, they wait till your old age, or when you are weak, is when they come back so strong. They detect, and then you must do, because you have no choice than to comply. So the interest is that you keep quiet, you do what they want. All right. So without wasting much time, we have 2 objectives. A. When life dead ends. When life dead ends. Ecclesiastes 2, verse 12 to 26. And then next objective will be dead is blind to wisdom and foolishness. Dead is blind to wisdom and foolishness. So whether you are wise or fool, you will die. Death has no respecter of being a wise person or a foolish person. Once again, the main content of chapter 2 are the pursuit of pleasure, wealth and power, wisdom and folly. So we start. Then I turned myself. Okay, so let's read Ecclesiastes 2, verse 12. At times, the reading may prevent the audience from following. So maybe I may not read everything. 2 verse 12. And what I've mentioned, you can read on your own. Then I turned myself to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done. Verse 18. Then I saw that wisdom excels folly as light excels darkness. At least, as we move along, we may read some of them. So let's move on with the teachings. Now, the failure of his research makes him question the value of wisdom itself. That what at all did he gain upon all his pursuit? There is a note of exhaustion and despair in Solomon's concluding observations. 2 verse 18 to 23. So let's try to read 2 verse 18 to 23. Then I hated all my labor, in which I had toiled, under the sun, because I must leave it to the man who will come after me. So you can imagine, upon all the struggle, he will die, and someone will have to come and then inherit. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool? Yet he will rule over all my labor in which I toiled, and in which I have shown myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. 20. Therefore I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor in which I have toiled under the sun. 21. For there is a man whose labor is with wisdom, knowledge and skill, yet he must leave his heritage to a man who has not labored for it. This also is vanity and great evil. Now 22. For what has man for all his labor and for all the striving of his heart, with which he has toiled under the sun? So it's a question to you and I. For all his days are sorrowful, and his work burdensome. Even in the night his heart takes no rest. This is also vanity. Yes, the rich cannot sleep. And if you go to the media, those who are making money, who are filthy rich, will tell you that some are lazy because they sleep 8 hours a day. However, it is recommended that each person must have 8 hours sleep within 24 hours. But because they are making money, they want to dive in money. So they don't even sleep. They will make phone calls, be checking their data account if some money has eaten a whole lot. So when they see you that you are preaching about resting, or someone is advocating for resting, then they say that that's why you are poor. Who told you that only those who don't sleep are rich? Who taught you that? Where can you prove this? And then one day, you get heart attack, or you are ill. Sometimes you can collapse. When you are sent to the hospital, they will advise you to switch off your phone for 1 week, for 2 weeks. Have enough rest. So sometimes you are even advised to leave your home, your luxurious home that you have built, or your house that you have built, the mansion, the estate. You are advised to live there into a secluded area. Means that when you are in your home, people will still come to disturb you. They'll be knocking and then they'll be checking on you. But when you move to an isolated area, then you can have your peace of mind. So the interest is peace. Peace is found in resting, actually. All right, we move on. He hates both his life, as we read in Ecclesiastes 2 verse 17, and his labor, which now seem toilsome and burdensome, Ecclesiastes 2 verse 22 and 23, and makes his days sorrowful. Still, the same 23. Upon all what he has labored, what will he gain from it? You can't send them to your grave. He had done all that he knew to do. This wisest and the richest of men, Ecclesiastes 1 verse 16, 2 verses to 9, and produced nothing. He had played all his intellectual and material cards, yet all his prudence notwithstanding, nothing had worked. Nothing had worked. The strength has run out. The strength has. So, for example, if you are playing a guitar, when the string is torn, then that is the end of the music or the sound. So what he wanted has now been pulled out. So there's a discontinuation. And if Solomon, with all his resources and wisdom, could not wring some true meaning from life, what hope was there for those with infinitely less opportunity? 2 verse 12. Let's see something there. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 12. Then I turn myself to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who succeeds the king? when you die and then you are gone. Of course, you are no more there. How can you know what is happening in your absence? You will think that those of us who have come after the king would learn from his experience. But the experiment continues to be repeated endlessly with the same unhappy result. It reminds one of the senseless men kept rereading the same novel, hoping it might end differently. You see, if I should summarize the chapter 2, verse 12 to 26. Now, someone is saying that upon all what you are laboring for, the knowledge of intelligence that you will achieve, books that you are going to write and publish, the fame that you are going to earn, the certificate that you are going to earn, the award that you are going to be given, the buildings that, the material things that we build. One day, you will die and then leave it. If you are uncareful, the next of kin or the heir is even a fool. And when he comes to inherit, because he did not struggle to gain, he will just destroy them. He is not going to be as careful and cautious as you were. His interest is that he didn't labor for. He has no knowledge in bringing up that property. His time is just to enjoy. Some may even use some of the cars, for example, for betting, or use it to place bets. When you are dead and gone, your back could be messy. And if you're not careful, no one will even remember your name. That this house was owned by this man. This plot was bought by this man. Because the heir was a fool or is a fool. And therefore, all your legacy are fleeting. No remembrance. None is going to recall any history about him. And because of this, he grieved a lot that, so upon all what I am laboring for, after I'm dead and gone, it could be a fool who will come and then inherit. And it is true. The person who came after King Solomon was Rehoboam. He was even foolish than King Solomon. Yes. He did nothing. You see. So he was grieved. And as if he was a prophet. What he anticipated came true. Every new generation sees itself as more progressive than the last, always imagining that an enlightened age will succeed the former ignorance, will succeed where former ignorance has failed. I'll take it again, I will explain. Every new generation sees itself as more progressive than the last, always imagining that an enlightened age will succeed where former ignorance has failed. Yes. Many a time, and this is how it is supposed to be. Previously, I've said that the old generation is succeeded by the new generation. And of course, when the new generation is in, there might be advancement. The new generation might be able to progress from the former ignorance. So also, Solomon is saying here, he was thinking that, he thought that after he was gone, the person to come after him, that's you and I, would be more reasonable and sensible than him. But continuously, we are repeating, the same mistakes. We are marrying more than two, we are drinking, we are making money, we are pursuing pleasure, we are pursuing academic influence. The same life cycles. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We have not learned anything from King Solomon. And this is a natural case that every human being, from birth, you go to school, you are employed, you marry, you give birth, you die. Sometimes you try to build some properties. That's all. So when you sit down to analyze life. What at all are you looking for? Where are you going? The same thing, the same pattern. Nothing has changed and nothing will change. Nothing can ever change. The same thing. We are all having the same thing to build the graduates or the new couples who are now hiring a room are dying to buy a land. They buy a land, they build, they move into their own apartments, they try to buy a car. That's all. Then they are sitting on top because they are living on their own. They have cars and children are going to school, so they try to live in luxury. This is the apex of human life, as I can see. This. So, when you are not married, they see you as someone who is purposeless. 2, when you are married and have not built your house, they see that you have no purpose. When you are married, you have your own house, no children. That one is a stigma on you. Now you are married, you have your own home, you have your own children. Now you are going to buy a car. All these things are classified, and you are seen as someone who is actually living a meaningful. It means you have fulfilled your destiny on earth. But there's more to life than marriage, buying a car, giving birth, and then owning your own apartment. Some have built and they are selling. Some have bought cars and they are selling. Some have given birth and the children have died and gone. So what is the problem here? So Solomon is actually sad that life will continue to. I'm saying that this is a natural case. Whether you like it or not, you must grow. You must marry, give birth, bear some responsibilities. You die, and then you are born. If you're able to buy a land, your children will continue. In that order. Nothing is new under the sun, and there's nothing in life that you can invent. We try to imitate. So therefore, they are thinking that if I was not able to achieve something, the next generation might be able to achieve and even progress. Now, this saying is confined to George Orwell in his philosophical quote that every generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that comes after it. So also George Orwell is saying that now we are in the 21st century. We are assuming that we are doing something which was not done in 20th century, and we are doing something to even surpass or supersede the 22nd century. Maybe when we are dead and then gone. That's what every generation sees itself. Our technological age is no different, because this is not a problem of technology. It is a question of the essential nature of man and the universe. This is, as I'm saying, this is natural. So technology cannot change anything. Last week, I think I was saying that technology has even failed us. Upon all the inventions, technology has not solved problems of human beings 100%, being a domestic or industrial. Yes. You cannot grow cabbage from leg shot, no matter how well you plant or cultivate it. You can not grow cabbage from lead shot, no matter how well you plant or lead itself is poisonous. And cabbage is something that you consume for stew, for salad. Some will even want to chew it raw as it is. Of course, sometimes they wash it with some salt and then they start to chew. Lead is poisonous to the health. So, how can you cultivate cabbage in less short? Now, what are we saying? That upon all what we are doing, we cannot change the unchanged. Simple. You can't change nature. You can't deceive nature. Man must grow and die. Simple. So we are all growing in height, in age. Then we die and then you go. You can't deceive nature. Short leg or leg short refers to small and round lead pellets that are used as projectiles in shotgun cartridges. So we all know gun for shooting and killing. Lead is a toxic metal or material, and using it to grow cabbage is dangerous to human consumption. Yes. How can you officially think to grow a cabbage using lead shot? Then you all die. You can't change the unchanged. You can't change nature. Human being is not wiser than God. We try, but we cannot invent. Even what we are inventing is artificial and not natural. Life purpose cannot be found here. Here means on this earth. So Solomon is not quite yet willing to dismiss the wise and prudent life as no better than one spent in foolishness. Then I saw that wisdom excels folly as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Ecclesiastes 2, verse 13 and 14a. In practical day-to-day affairs of life, he still believes and will continue to believe that wisdom is a blessing and mindlessness a curse. Ecclesiastes 4, verse 18. 5, verse 3. 7, verse 1 to 12. 10, verse 1 to 17. What you must understand is that wisdom is above foolishness. Just as light will always supersede darkness. And by summary once again, all what we are laboring for, if you are not careful, now you could be wise, but after your death, a fool can come and then inherit it. So wealth and power is found there. Pursuit of pleasure is also found there. Wisdom and folly is also found there. And then the futility of seeking the ultimate happiness and fulfillment through wealth are all found where we ended. Now, we go to the second objective. Death is blind to wisdom and foolishness. The thing that stops the creature cold is death. I could imagine when someone saw that he was going to die, maybe he might have thought he would never die. But when he was aged, I think he saw that I'm approaching my creator or my maker. And so also we will all go one day. The thing that stops the preacher cold is death. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happens to them all. So I said in my heart, as it happens to the fool, it also to me. And why was I then wiser? Then I said in my heart, this is also vanity. And how does the wise man die? As the fool. Death is blind to wisdom and foolishness. You see, at times, the wise is so cautious, he observes precautions, safety measures to stay longer. He eats cautiously. And we assume that the fool eats anyhow, and the fool is careless. So while the wise is cautious, the fool is careless. But despite the precautions being taken by the wise man, at times the wise man even dies earlier than the foolish man. Because you are always suspicious of things. Everything you're suspicious. So sometimes there's even a risk in what you trust, but you don't know. And sometimes we die, or you die. But the fool cares less. Nothing concerns him. He lives so freely. No evil conscience. The conscience is not pricked. He does things anyhow. And sometimes people are like that, or similar to them, they live longer. You are hereby also informed that sometimes the one who does evil lives longer than the one who lives righteously. Sometimes the one who does evil even dies naturally, and the person who did live for righteousness dies so shamefully. Stroke, drowned, accident, beheaded, in fact, being shot. At times you die and you even rot when no one is there. This is nature. So we are not here to question God. Why he allows his people to die in shameful manner, and rather evil to die naturally. For that one, I am not in a position to justify. The wise and the fool will all die, whether you are conscious or careless. Wisdom may be useful in this life, but it yields no answers to life's vital question that at last wise men die just like fools and are just unremembered. Yes. Now the phrase here, life's vital question, means death. We can't question God on death, and there's no antidote to death unless it is not yet your time. But when your time reaches, you die, and we die once. Resuscitation is not found in the Bible. If we're the doctor, physician, or nurse, resuscitation is found as a first aid, or it is used as a first aid. Of course, can be found when you are treating safety, precisely first aid. Now, when someone is in shock or when someone collapses, you will use it to revive the person. Resuscitation does not mean that you have brought someone back to life. No. Hebrews 9:27 is saying that it is appointed for a man to die once after 8 judgments. So if you have really died, resuscitation cannot wake you. Maybe you were into coma, you were unconscious. Then is when you can use some push-ups, press-ups on the chest, blow some air into the mouth, then the person will gain consciousness. Does not mean that you have brought back the dead to life. It is impossible. And if you are thinking so, or your book, or your professor is saying so, that is foolishness. According to 1 Corinthians 3 verse 19, that the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. You find this anywhere in the Bible. When you die, you have died. You have died. When you die, that's the end. Unless you are in coma, some can fall into coma for 1 year, 2 years, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, 5 years, 10 years, then it continues. But when you die, when you correctly die, that is the end of it. And once you die, you are judged. That's why the Bible is saying that. And after death, a judgment into either Tartarus or paradise. Luke 16 verse 19. The story of the rich man and then Lazarus. So, resuscitation is not even an antidote to death. So the wise will die, the fool will die. If you are uncareful, none will be remembered. So don't think that because you are a professor, because you invented, so your name is going to remain forever. Time takes everyone out. New inventions also take old inventions out. You understand? In Ghana, those keypad phones is called yam phone. You are not even sad when it falls down. We handle with less caution. Oh, it is a yam phone, so don't worry. But we are so cautious with our smartphones, where we have bought armor covers to prevent it from falling and then cracking the screen. You understand? So here I'm saying that the yam phone, as it is called in quotes, was also someone's invention. In the olden days, buggers who were from abroad to Ghana were coming with yam phones in which the screen was just black and white. It was later that the color screen came. I'm making reference to somewhere 1998, 1999, 2000 coming. A whole bugger from Italy will come to Ghana and be holding yam phone, keypad phone, and even that one, somewhere initially was black and white before color came. So color screen and a black and white screen. How we all struggled, how we were all happy to at least call someone and speak to the person on phone. Now at times my phone will bear and I won't even answer. So what at all are you looking for in this life? I've been telling Doris, then the sister, they are two, that Doris, whatever we are dying for, whatever we are anticipating for, we will have them at our disposal, and then we wouldn't even know the value of it. Now I have TV. Before I came here, for about 2 years, I mean from 2019 to 2021, I wasn't having any TV. I was then using some old TV, in which wasn't a fast screen. Later, I disposed it off, and then I was just using my laptop. Later, then I began to go into fast screen. But the good news is that I don't watch TV. You will never see me watching TV. Don't have a decoder. I have this as my decoder. But don't subscribe. Unless maybe I'm going to receive a family visitors. It's when I will pay, so that maybe when they are home, they will watch. But even if they are here, I won't watch with them. I don't watch TV. By caution, you understand? Now, supposing that I was dying or I was a fan of TV. Now, TV is here. How many times can I even watch? I'm not going to watch it from morning 6 a.m. to the morning 6 a.m. You become tired of it. So sometimes you also have to off it and then you sleep. So all what we are craving for, all what we are running for, we are caring for, we are dying for, at times they will be of no value to us again. Some are now rich. Their teeth have uprooted. They can't chew meat. Some have expensive laptops and phones. Because when they were young, they made money. So now they have expensive gadgets. They are visually impaired. So they can't clearly see to replace the phone. What we are dying for, we will have it at our disposal and they will be of no use to us. So here we say that all what you are laboring for, when you die and you are gone, some may not even remember you. You may be discredited. Some have invented, they are dead, and someone has stolen the ideas, patent it, and now the product has a new name. Sometimes the person is dead. So another person went to the family, bought the whole plan, and patented it. So now the invention is now in his honor. Meanwhile, someone began it. You are dead and gone. Now, let me use license for example. In fact, I won't mention the area, but there's a license in which when you die, someone can buy it and change the name. Your name will not be there, and then now the person's name will be on it. Are you remembered or not? So whether you have a license or not, the person who is having this license is not remembered. Someone who also lived, who could not also attain the license, is also not remembered. So you are all gone, and then life continues. Wisdom may be useful in this life, but it yields. Okay, so here has been read. Now Solomon concludes with a vividly, transparently remembered sense of exhausted emptiness and despair, that I hated life because the work that was done under the sun was distressing to me, for all its vanity and grasping for the wind. 2 verse 17. And of course it is true. I think this has been explained several. He came to hate that the work he had once cherished, when he realized that death would leave all his labor in the hands of others, perhaps fools who would blink to nothing. Can you imagine 2 verse 18 to 20? This would be so painful. How I wish the ghosts would be there to watch how the person who inherited is misusing his hard-earned properties and then others. Then I hated all my labor in which I have toiled under the sun, because I must leave it behind. I must leave it to the man who will come after me. So it means that so you can imagine on your sick bed where maybe you've been told that you have 2 days to die. Then you start to think. Of course, you are well aware of the person who is coming to inherit your produce, your inventions, and your product, and a whole lot. So here someone is saying that, then I hated all my labor in which I had toiled under the sun, because I must leave it to the man who will come after me. So as I was saying that, when they are dead, we all know that I can't even go about my phone. Someone must use the phone. And if it is an accident, whilst you are dying, people are interested in picking the gadgets than to save a life. So the person will pick your phone and leave you to die. Oh, this man is dead, or he's dying, so the phone might be useful. Then they will pick all the money from your pocket, and then sometimes they won't even. Nowadays, people are interested in gadgets that are saving a life. You are drowning, and then they are recording a video or taking pictures of you. And each of them to be sensible enough to say, no. The recording for visual evidence is more important than your life. Of course, the person will upload, and people will like. Sometimes he's even paid from your death. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool. So you can imagine when you are aware that this person who is going to inherit my properties is a big fat fool. You see, you will grieve a lot, and this will even motivate your dying. Then you die early, and then you go to troubles. Yet he will rule over all my labor, in which I have toiled, and in which I have shown my. That is funny. He is also going to rule over it. He becomes the new commander. Your laws and rules are of no value again. When Rehoboam came to succeed his father King Solomon, he rather even intensified the labor laws on the Israelites. That's why they wanted to kill him. So he ran away from his own temple. The person that he was using to enforce the law was killed by the Israelites. They wanted him as well, and then he ran away. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool Yet he will rule over all my labor, in which I toiled, and in which I have shown myself wise under the sun. So you see that even what you have preserved with wisdom, he comes to scatter with foolishness. He cares less. She cares less. Verse 20, therefore I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor in which I have toiled under the sun. It is so painful. It is just painful. Knowing very well that you struggled enough to build this house. You struggled enough to attain this position as a teacher, as a lecturer, as a managing director. And based on this, you have to wake up, or you woke up almost every 4 a.m. to do extra work before you could buy a land to build a house. Now you're about to die. And the person to come and then inherit has no value of how to struggle, how to go to school, how to work at dawn, how to work early in the morning to make money, how to buy a land, how to employ laborers. He has absolutely no knowledge concerning this. So he comes to mess up your name at times. When your statue is even in front of your own building, let's say your own company, the person can go for a excavator to degrade it, and then he mounts his or her own statue. Your name is somewhere there. The person can erase and then now put his name there. Can go and then change all documents for the company, now becoming his. Now he's the boss. So he will change the name of the owner. That's all. Literally, all what you left is now waste and then of no value. So he was given for it. He was dismayed at the reality we must all face. All that we buy or build, death. We must all face death. All that we buy or build here will pass soon enough into the hands of others, and none of it will survive. Yes. The person would be just misusing. Sometimes the person may not even use the profit to take care of your wife and then the children. That's why nowadays there are more laws that, so far as you are living with your wife, try to invest or try to include her in your will before you die. You don't know your next of kin, his or her attitude. None will survive. But hey, there are some instances to we have some haters who are so brilliant. In fact, they will respect, even though you are gone, but they will change nothing. Rather, they try to advance it. In case it is a company, they will try to uplift the image. In case of any paintings, they will paint. In fact, they will do everything possible to preserve your legacy. So it is not always so. By then, how trusted is this? The preacher will later speak of obvious. It's spoken by Job. So Job 1 verse 21. So naked I came and naked I shall go. So let's see. Job 1 verse 21. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. By Job. Let's see Timothy 1 verse 6. So 1 Timothy 1 verse 6. Verse 6. From which some, having strayed, have turned aside to idle talk, I'm coming. 6 verse 7, sorry. 6 verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. That's all. So naked we came, Job 1 verse 21. Naked we go. We came with nothing. 1 Timothy 6 verse 7. We go with nothing. So simple. However, this does not mean that don't have visions and then aspirations. Always I've been saying this. As he came from his mother's womb, naked shall he return, to go as he came, and shall take nothing from his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 15. Oh, I love these teachings a lot. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 15. In case you have money and then you want to buy me mini AC, I'll be glad, because actually my room is very hot at times. So if you want to donate an AC or anything, thank you. I have a fan. The fan has a speed, but if I on it, it will distract. I mean, to give a feedback sound in the video. That's why. Otherwise, I have a very nice fan which it blows a cool air. As he came from his mother's womb, naked shall he return, to go as he came, and he shall take nothing from his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. We go as we came. So it means that Ecclesiastes 5 verse 15, Job 1:21, 1 Timothy 6 verse 7 are parallel chapters and then verses. It is foolish to build a house on rented land, and madness to build a life on that which cannot sustain nor fulfill it. I suppose you understand that it is foolish to build a house on a rented land. So let's go to the flesh and then come to the spirit. For example, I'm a caretaker of my friend's land. Then I've put up a structure on it. Or maybe the place was given to you for 1 year or 2 years. So temporary thing. And then you have forced yourself to build on it. The owner can claim the land, and you are to dismantle your structure, and the money will not be given you. Now, in terms of, as Solomon was saying, that it is foolish to build on a house on a rented land, or to build a house on means that our lives are not for us. We borrow it. So what makes you think that you're going to live forever, and that whatever you do is permanent? God can call you at any time, and when you are going, what you have built remains where it is. Simple. So upon all what we are accumulating on a rented life, a life being given by God, the life that's what belongs to us. So all what we are dying for, we are killing for, we are cheating for, is based on God's giving or providence or providence. When God takes his life, we are doomed. And madness to build a life on that which cannot sustain or fulfill it. Once again, God gives us life. So, why have you put your trust in yourself that I am on my own? If God should take his breath, that is your end. So madness to build a life on that which cannot sustain or fulfill it. Whatever you can't build to sustain your own life, or you have no power to build and think that this is for me forever. When you die, you are gone, minus the property. So we say that when something is temporal, try to live accordingly to it, than to think that the temporal has been changed into permanent. Some are living their life as if they will never die. As if they refuse to employ. When the document is with him, he put it in the trash. So far as he is there, he will see to that you will not be employed. The word isn't for you. The company, the institution is not for you. At least you go on pension. By 60 years you are on pension. You have become useless. No more wanted there. But you become useful when it is through you that some people have also gained employment. They will always remember you. At times every month they even send you money. So even though you are home on pension, but people that you helped are paying you. So you could be useless is when you are selfish. So you go on pension, so useless. But when you were trying to help, being kind to others, you were even rather forcing that some people will be employed. You become useful. You see, if I stand here, I don't like to beg. Okay. Now, when I say beg, begging could be at times some demand or some request could be in the form of begging. At least I have about 10 boys, my own students, who are abroad. My own students, they are abroad. They are abroad. As we are speaking, they are abroad. I can call them that maybe I need an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So get the money and then buy it for me. This is a form of begging. Okay. Now everywhere is hard. Life is really hard in this life. The perfect gift is when the person himself or herself has given to you voluntarily, not by compulsion. So how can I call some of them that I need this? No, I won't do that. Everything that I've been using for money for the truth was by free will offering, given. And always I have mentioned, of course, the video is being recorded on a tripod. So someone bought it for me for free. And someone bought me also an earbud. That one is there. Some were also sending me money for data. And then this tablet was also sent to me from Dubai. But for this one, I did it in Ghana. In fact, I did it with Kofi Ba. Kofi Ba is also my student. He completed 2022. Initially, I was going to buy, and he said, sir, but this one you can make one. I said, Always, I am busy in school. I am busy, so I don't have time for this minor work. Then he said you can do. So we all sat down, brought some designs, we altered, and then we had this. So there's no way I will call someone to beg him or to force him. If the person wants to help you, we are hereby informed that the person also has his family members there. Some even traveled by borrowing some money. Maybe it was even someone who paid their traveling expenses. So they will work for about 6 months to pay back. So we don't task someone unnecessary. Yes. Because when they came to school, they paid school fees. And even if they didn't pay school fees, monthly I was paid for teaching them. So there's no need to assume by force or to call them, to tax them. I need this and that. No. We only tell, how are you? We are praying that God will intervene. That's all. I'm even praying that they go higher. This is when it becomes useful. But if you are selfish, someone who don't want those behind to surpass, that's where you go on pension to become useless. When they see you, they will all run away. Now Solomon looks unblinkingly and the world that God had first created in perfection and then subjected to futility due to sin. It was when sin entered, then everything changed. The union, the perfect union between God and mankind changed for good and for worse. Of course, by our first parent anyway. Genesis 3 verse 16 to 19. Then Romans 8 verse 20. When, in fact, it was sin that destroyed the union between God and then human beings. Now we can live on our own. So we are suffering. All what we are doing is futile. We struggle to go to work by traffic. Time, you should be fast. They are giving you warning letters. And then you will die and go. So life itself is futile. And calls it what it is. An unfulfilling and baffling place whose contradictions can fill life with despair. Now Solomon again concludes that man's quest to find ultimate joy and purpose in things under the sun is hopeless. I think already you have read the 2 and 23. Let's read again. The rain 1 to 4. So my room is a bit cold. Initially there were more trees around. So here was very cold. Here was so cold that I was always wearing the hoodie. You see, I have 3 of them here. Always I was wearing until they came to cut all the trees for charcoal. So now the sun is disturbing me. For all his days are sorrowful, and his work burdensome. Even in the night, his heart takes no rest. So you can imagine, especially when things are not going on well for you. You have invested and you have seen that you are losing. You can't have sound sleep. As if you are dreaming, and you even end up getting hypertension, you mean pressure. Even in the night, his heart takes no rest. How can you rest? Because you are waiting for a money, and the money has not hit the account. So you are desperately waiting for. You are anxious. And in the Bible, we have been warned of be anxious for nothing. Do not worry. We are almost approaching the end. Still, though they cannot be the foundation on which life is built, he declares for the first time that they do have value when enjoyed as gifts from the hand of God. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 24. Nothing is better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy guilt in his labor. This also I saw was from the hand of God. Yes. Last week, the first objective was of pleasures and palaces, and I explained that the palaces is the earthly power and wealth, and then the pleasures refer to God's blessings. What God has blessed you with it. For example, it could be money. It means that you were hardworking. It could be your farm produce. It could be cars. It could be children. And Bible is not against that. Please, I've never said, and when someone didn't say that, don't work to make money. You won't find this anywhere in the Bible. But when it is conflicting the word of God, is when it becomes evil. You can make a genuine money, and then you can enjoy life. You are ever informed that money cannot buy life. If you die, you die. COVID-19, people, renowned doctors died. Renowned doctors, they died. People who were infected by the COVID had money, but their monies could not save them. When there's an airplane crash, people in there are rich. They are not saved by the money. And if you are the hospital, if you die, you will die. Money can't save life. And while keeping in mind that nothing can have meaning apart from seeking to be good in his sight. So 25, the 26. Sorry, I was opening the NAAB. I prefer to read the King James. For who can eat or who can have enjoyment more than I? So can someone ask you a question? For God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight. Who is good in his sight? So King Solomon initially was good in the sight of God. But to the sinner, he gives the work of gathering and collecting, that he may give to him who is good before God. This is also vanity and grasping of the wind. So you be a sinner. You work and work and work and work. At times it may end up on the righteous man's place. And then he enjoys for free. Officially, we have come to the end of the pedagogy of chapter 2. From my last statement, life with regard for God is meaningful. Life without regard for God is meaningless. My name is Joseph Arthur. Number is 0248 026557. If you want to donate, you can call, you can chat. If you want a special account, being bank, I'll give it to you. Until then, this is Mining for the Truth. See you again next time on chapter 3. Until then, bye-bye.